Wang Lin unleashes a forbidden god-level spell that drags everyone into a primordial battlefield, overwhelming the All-Seer and shocking all factions while rejecting Mu Bingmei's help. Brilliant Void Saintess. The All-Seer's expression turned solemn at once. Holding the trident, he quickly withdrew several steps. Yet his gaze soon shifted toward the old man standing in the air. Lu Yundao, the All-Seer, frowned and said, "Could it be that your brilliant void realm also intends to interfere?" The old man looked at the All-Seer, then at the gloomy ancient devil Tajia. When his eyes fell upon ancient devil Tajia, a trace of remembrance appeared within them. This old man's target is him. The old man sighed and walked toward Taji. The ancient devil's eyes burned with devilish flames as he stared at the old man, and his gaze turned serious. His right hand gripped the blade and swept it forward. In a dark voice he said, "It's you. So you truly didn't die. I should have died long ago, but Brother Qing Lin saved me. Although the hatred between us ran deep since he saved me, once I owe him a debt. I will repay that debt with you." As the old man spoke, he continued walking toward the ancient devil. His expression remained calm, as though the ancient devil was not worthy of his attention. Taja let out a roar. Monstrous black mist erupted from his body. The mist transformed into a devilish shadow, and it opened its mouth as if to devour the old man whole. In the blink of an eye, both the ancient devil and the old man were swallowed by the black mist. The ancient devil's roar rang out from within, and thunderous rumbles echoed across the void. Mu Bingmei put Wang Lin down and shot straight toward the All-Seer. The All-Seer frowned as he retreated. In a calm voice he said, "Brilliant Void Saintess, I do not wish to make an enemy of your brilliant void realm. This Wang Lin has no connection to you. No one can stop me from killing him. You are not qualified to kill him." Mu Bingmei shook her head as she flew into the air. With a wave of her right hand, illusions appeared around her. Each one looked exactly the same as Mu Bingmei. However, there were only 8 of them. Spirit lock the soul, refine the heavens for energy. Mu Bingmei's voice was calm. The moment her words fell, the 8 avatars immediately formed seals with their hands. A powerful surge of origin energy gathered, forming a pillar of origin energy that came crashing down from above. A strange light appeared in the All-Seer's eyes, and he began to mutter under his breath. The pillar of origin energy, descending from the sky, started to tremble. Mu Bingmei shook her head and softly said, "Your heavenly fate spell is useless against me." As she spoke, her right hand reached into the void. Endless origin energy gathered and formed a bamboo slip. The instant the bamboo slip opened, 7 colored light burst out. Countless runes flew forth and revolved around Mu Bingmei's body. Although I am only at the first heaven's blight, none of the origin energy within the brilliant void can escape my control. If I do not wish for you to have any origin energy, then you cannot take even a single speck. Mu Bingmei's jade-like hand pointed toward the runes surrounding her. The runes suddenly scattered and vanished into the world. At that instant, all the origin energy in the entire world underwent a great change. It gathered toward the pillar of origin energy. Mu Bingmei stared at the All-Seer and said, "Seal all external origin energy from the All-Seer." Her voice was calm, but it carried a tone that allowed no doubt. At that moment, all the origin energy around the All-Seer separated from him as if it were rejecting his presence. It scattered rapidly and was exhausted in an instant. Only the refined origin energy within the All-Seer's own body remained unaffected. However, this inconceivable spell far surpassed anyone's imagination. Even the All-Seer's expression darkened. I have long heard that within the brilliant void realm, the brilliant void saintess possesses a powerful spell. The title of brilliant void saintess has been passed down through the generations since ancient times. Even when the Celestials still existed, her status was equal to that of the Celestial Palace. There were 4 celestial realms, and beneath each one was a star system. Rumor says that within each star system, there is one person who carries an inheritance from the ancient celestial realm. The saintesses of the 4 star systems each control different powers. When I entered the brilliant void realm to cultivate, I heard many rumors about the brilliant Void Saintess. Today I see those rumors were true. Mu Bingmei did not speak. She pointed at the pillar of origin energy. The pillar rapidly shrank until it became a glittering short sword made of light. Holding the short sword, Mu Bingmei raised her head and moved like a butterfly toward the All-Seer. Even now she did not look at Wang Lin a second time. The complicated emotions in her heart left her unsure how to face this familiar stranger. No one could understand her thoughts because even she herself remained confused. She only knew that she could not bear to watch Wang Lin die. She could not remain indifferent while others tried to kill him. There was an even more complicated feeling within her, one that made her heart ache with unbearable pain. Because of that feeling, she would not allow anyone to kill Wang Lin. This thought had lingered in her heart for a very long time, filling it completely. Many times late at night, she would awaken from cultivation in shock. She would stand alone on the highest mountain of the brilliant void realm and gaze into the endless void. That painful feeling made it seem as though her heart was bleeding. That thought nearly made her lose control. She had endured countless years like this. Today, when she saw Wang Lin, the complicated feeling and the pain that had been brewing in her heart surged through her mind. She did not dare lower her head to look at Wang Lin, who might still be unconscious. She did not dare. She only held the short sword and charged toward the All-Seer with that complicated feeling in her heart. It was as if only this could calm her mind. The All-Seer's expression was gloomy. Although he knew a great deal about the brilliant Void Saintess, he had never imagined she would be able to seal the origin energy of the world itself. This meant that his heavenly fate spells had no effect on her. Heavenly fate spells were a method of communicating with the world. Through that communication, he could obtain an intangible law and use it. He let out a cold snort and swung his trident. 3 rays of light shot toward Mu Bingmei. As rumbling echoed, Wang Lin opened his eyes on the ground. When he saw Mu Bingmei battling the All-Seer, a deeply complicated expression appeared in his eyes, along with a trace of pain that could not be erased. He had never thought he would meet her again so soon, and at a time like this. Whenever Wang Lin thought of Liu Mei, the pain he felt was far more intense than any injury could cause. Each time he thought of the bitterness within Wang Ping's body, his heart ached. As he pondered, Wang Lin sat down in the lotus position and took a deep breath. He had no spells left. It seemed he had nothing left with which to struggle against fate. I still have one more spell. Wang Lin looked toward the endless space that had appeared when the sword storm shattered the sky of the demon spirit land. The powerful origin energy from outside surrounded the demon spirit land. Although the azure light shield was broken in half, it did not disappear. The life-saving strike of an 8-star ancient god is stored within it. Although I don't know how powerful it is, it cannot be weak. As Wang Lin pondered, his right eye shone blue. The vague shadow of the azure light shield appeared. However, this azure light shield had been split in half and was rapidly fusing with Wang Lin's eye. Even if it had not fused, the 8-star ancient god spell stored inside could still be used. The requirement was that there had to be enough ancient god energy. Wang Lin had once thought of a way to solve the problem of obtaining ancient god power. He could separate his avatar from his original body and let his original body settle somewhere, slowly absorbing ancient god power with the azure light shield. However, that would take too long. Originally, Wang Lin had planned to do this after leaving the demon spirit land, but now he had to find a shortcut. Yet, if it was a shortcut, there would be a price. It was a price Wang Lin himself would have to pay. Wang Lin looked at Liu Mei as she battled the All-Seer. His eyes became firm and resolute. I don't need her to save me, and I don't want to owe her anything. As he pondered, the 5 ancient god stars suddenly appeared between Wang Lin's eyebrows and began rotating rapidly. A large amount of ancient god power surged out and entered the azure light shield in his right eye. As ancient god power poured into his right eye, the blue light from that eye grew so bright that it became blinding. Using his own ancient god power to fill the azure light shield came at a tremendous cost to Wang Lin. Although his stars did not shatter, exhausting all of his ancient god power, caused his fifth star to dim until it looked extremely bleak. However, as long as an ancient god star did not shatter, it could recover. But the azure light shield required too much ancient god power. As the light from Wang Lin's right eye became brighter, more ancient god power entered it, and the fourth star also dimmed. Blue light erupted from Wang Lin's right eye and shrouded the area. Even Mu Bingmei and the All-Seer, who were locked in battle, noticed this strange blue light. The stars between his eyebrows rotated faster and faster. The third star dimmed, followed by the second. Finally, the last remaining star also slowly faded. At that instant, however, the blue light from Wang Lin's right eye shot into the sky like a sword. He looked toward the 50-kilometer-wide pillar that had risen into the air because of the All-Seer's spell. The pillar immediately rumbled, unable to withstand Wang Lin's gaze, and then collapsed. At that very moment, rays of light appeared within the endless void. They were incomparably swift, tearing through the fractured sky as they surged into the demon spirit land. At the forefront was a celestial, his body brimming with dense celestial spiritual energy. Behind him followed many more celestials, all of whom had fought their way here through slaughter. A vast number of Cultivation Alliance cultivators arrived as well, encircling the entire region. To the Cultivation Alliance, whether it was the Four Divine Sect, the All-Seer, or Ancient Devil, Tajia, all were enemies. Even these celestials did not wish for Qing Lin to awaken. They would rather allow the Ancient Devil to seize control of the body. Yet the Ancient Devil was someone they absolutely had to kill. Qing Lin's fame alone was enough to shake the hearts of the remnant celestials. Even the celestial lord leading them had once shown him the utmost respect. In the past, he would not have dared harbor even the slightest rebellious thought. But now these celestials had been worshipped for countless years under the Cultivation Alliance. None of them were willing to relinquish what they possessed and return to the past. Thus, they did not want Qing Lin to awaken, and the Ancient Devil had to die. Set formation. The former celestial lord roared the instant they entered the demon spirit land. The Alliance cultivators immediately formed hand seals. Endless origin energy surged into the sky, and 9 enormous radiant swords materialized. These 9 massive swords hovered high above, enclosing a radius of 50 kilometers. Dull refinement. Countless Alliance cultivators shouted in unison. Their voices echoed like rolling thunder. The formation activated, and in that instant, the entire 50-kilometer region was engulfed in boundless swordlight. The Celestials surged forward, charging at the figures below. Most of them targeted the black mist, where the Ancient Devil and the Old Man were located. Another group rushed straight toward the All-Seer. In a single instant, chaos erupted. Yet amidst this chaos, a terrifying blue light burst forth from Wang Lin's right eye. The pillar created by the All-Seer began to collapse as the blue light pierced through it. The moment the blue light penetrated the pillar, crumbled into rubble. Dust billowed into the air, and everyone standing upon it scattered in all directions. Wang Lin leapt into the sky and charged directly toward the All-Seer. The sudden arrival of the Cultivation Alliance, along with Wang Lin's spell, drew the All-Seer's attention. His expression darkened greatly as he used his trident to force Mu Bingmei back. He shouted coldly, "Since you seek death, I will grant it to you." Mu Bingmei hesitated for a brief moment. Then Wang Lin's icy voice rang out, "I don't need your help. As for the pill from before, I will repay it many times over. And for saving my life, I will repay that many times over as well." Mu Bingmei's face turned pale. She silently retreated, biting her lower lip until it bled. She stared at Wang Lin and cried out, "I want to see him." Her voice was filled with sorrow. This was the deepest desire within her heart, one that had echoed for countless years. Even now, her emotions remained tangled and complex. That him was someone no outsider could understand. But Wang Lin's body trembled. How could he not know? That him was Wang Ping. At the mention of Wang Ping, a sharp pain pierced Wang Lin's heart. Unless one had lived through it, it was impossible to comprehend. "You're not qualified." Wang Lin's heart ached as he charged toward the All-Seer. Mu Bingmei let out a miserable smile. She wanted to speak, but no words came. As the Celestials of the Cultivation Alliance closed in, her gaze turned icy. The fury born from her tangled emotions erupted. She vented it all upon the approaching Celestials, charging at them with the short sword in her hand. Ignoring her, Wang Lin rushed straight at the All-Seer. The blue light in his right eye burned like a sun illuminating the world. It gave his entire being an indescribable majesty. The All-Seer gripping his trident felt a trace of fear. That blue light contained a spell he could not comprehend. "This is, All-Seer, our battle ends now," Wang Lin roared. The blue light surged, and the azure light shield appeared once more. Though it had previously split in half, the two halves now fused together. Then it suddenly shattered into countless specks of light, scattering across the surroundings. At that instant, the All-Seer's heart trembled violently. A sense of unknown danger flooded his mind. Such danger was exceedingly rare for him, yet now it was so intense that he inhaled sharply. Without hesitation, he reached toward his forehead and tore fiercely. The second seal between his brows was ripped halfway open. Before he could finish, a colossal palm descended from the heavens. Its speed defied imagination. It clenched into a fist and smashed into the All-Seer's body. Thunderous booms echoed endlessly. The earth quaked violently. After the massive fist struck a pair of enormous fists, slammed into the ground with a deafening impact. At the same time, an unimaginable transformation occurred in the sky above the demon spirit land. The heavens roared as a gigantic vortex appeared, spinning rapidly. The vortex was vast beyond measure. All surrounding planets were drawn into its scope. Within it, countless lifelike scenes began to emerge. There were majestic buildings, simple in form, yet ancient beyond reckoning. The land was blood-red, filled only with these endless structures, as if they alone upheld the world. Then suddenly a giant foot descended from the sky and struck the ground. The moment it landed, the earth shattered and a thunderous roar resounded. The foot crushed a building, reducing it instantly to rubble. At the same time, a world-shaking roar echoed through the void. Within the vivid illusion of the vortex, the owner of that foot was revealed a towering giant, an ancient god, an 8-star ancient god. Yet that alone was not the most shocking sight. Beside it stood nearly 100 more giants of equal size. Nearly 100, all 8-star ancient gods. Farther away stood an even more colossal figure. Compared to it, the 8-star ancient gods were like ants before an elephant, and even that comparison failed to capture its enormity. In another direction, monstrous demonic energy surged. Ancient demons emerged from within it, their roars shaking the heavens. Elsewhere, overwhelming devilish energy erupted as ancient devils charged forward, their eyes filled with bloodthirst and madness. This was a vast battle between the three ancient order clans. On the ground below, countless key-refining cultivators fought as well. Yet they were far stronger than any cultivators of the present era. They were organized by clans, each bearing various tattoos between their brows, and they slaughtered one another in a frenzy. The battlefield was unimaginably vast. The vortex in the stars revealed only a small fragment of it. Suddenly, everyone in the demon spirit land realized something. The demon spirit land had vanished. Everything before their eyes disappeared. They now stood within that battlefield. The surrounding scene was terrifyingly real. Some, however, refused to believe it. They assumed it was merely an illusion. Though shocked, one celestial from the Alliance looked upon it with disdain. At that moment, a shadow fell over him. An ancient god's foot descended mercilessly. He did not dodge. In the blink of an eye, the foot slammed down. The earth trembled. When it lifted, the celestial had vanished, leaving behind only a smear of blood and flesh. His origin soul had shattered completely. Everyone inhaled sharply. At that moment, a gigantic bird, 10,000 feet in size, let out a ferocious cry as it swept across the sky. A thunderous roar followed its passage. Its wings were like blades slicing through the Alliance cultivators, maintaining the formation. Hundreds were cleaved in half. Blood sprayed in all directions. Dream. Dream of ancient times. The ancient devil, the old man, and the battling celestials All froze, staring in shock. When ancient devil Tajar saw this, fear filled his eyes. Primordial times. Could this be a primordial battlefield? The old man from the brilliant void realm gasped. This was the life-saving treasure left within the azure light shield by the 8-star ancient god. Such a spell could never be ordinary. The dream of the ancient god. The dream of ancient times. At that moment the earth trembled even more violently. Nearly 100 ancient gods strode across the land, charging toward everyone present. The ancient demon clan and the ancient devil clan also roared as they rushed forward. It seemed that the place where everyone stood was the very center of the battlefield. And in the distance, that incomparably massive figure behind the 100 ancient gods slowly lifted its foot. Everyone present felt a sharp tingling on their scalps. Fear spread instantly, and they scattered in all directions. As for the ancient devil, his eyes shone with excitement as he looked toward the approaching members of the ancient devil clan. In the distance, the all-seer struggled to his feet. He coughed up a mouthful of blood. The calm in his eyes shattered completely. Without hesitation, his left hand tore away what remained of the second seal. In that instant, his roar shook the heavens and echoed across the world. A terrifying aura erupted from his body, several times stronger than before. This aura was so overwhelming that even the primordial battlefield seemed on the verge of collapse. "Wang Lin, come out for me," the all-seer roared. His appearance changed drastically. From a man of 50, he reverted to the prime of his life, around 30 years of age. His hair turned completely black, and a crushing presence radiated from him. By tearing off the second seal, he had released his second Heaven's Blight cultivation. This was already his limit. He did not dare to recklessly release the third Heaven's Blight. In his eyes, Wang Lin had always been just a small cultivator. Yet again and again, he had caused shock. That law of origin alone was already formidable. The All-Seer had believed it to be Wang Lin's final trump card. He had never imagined that when driven into a corner, Wang Lin would still possess such a terrifying spell. "Wang Lin, come out," he roared toward the heavens. At that very moment, a buzzing sound filled the world. "I'm right in front of you." The voice was more violent than thunder, overwhelming all other sounds on the battlefield. It rang in the ears of every living being. Some cultivators with weaker cultivation levels immediately bled from their ears. Their miserable screams echoed endlessly. Even the All-Seer was shaken. He lifted his head toward the source of the voice, but the moment he did, his face turned pale. He inhaled sharply. Before him stood a figure of unimaginable size, far larger than any 8-star ancient god. It was so vast that it defied description. The All-Seer could not even see its face. His vision only reached its waist. As he raised his head, a strange whistling sound descended from above. Something was falling at incredible speed, tearing through the air with violent friction. In an instant, a powerful gale crashed down from the sky. The moment it struck the ground, the earth itself cracked open. Alliance cultivators collapsed under the force of that wind. Even the Celestials trembled with fear. Among them, the Alliance's Celestial Lord revealed an indescribable terror. His body shook violently as he stared at the colossal figure. Despite his cultivation and mental strength, cold sweat drenched his entire body. His eyes locked onto the sky as though he wanted to speak. But instead he burst into manic laughter. His laughter carried madness, as if he had just witnessed something beyond comprehension. He coughed out blood, yet continued laughing wildly. Step by step, he retreated until he vanished somewhere into the world. This sudden scene shocked everyone. But there was no time to think. The gale from above grew even more violent. Someone looked up and saw a black dot in the distant sky. The black dot expanded rapidly. In the blink of an eye, as the wind intensified, it revealed itself a colossal fist, beyond imagination. Like a piece of land crashing down, its shadow swallowed the sky itself. The All-Seer's expression became grave. His aura surged to its peak. He hurled his trident into the air, then formed seals with both hands. His robes fluttered violently, as if filled with surging energy. He spread his arms, releasing the full power of his second Heaven's Blight, and charged upward. The giant fist descended with terrifying force, sonic booms erupting as it collided with the trident. A thunderous explosion rang out. Cracks spread across the trident. Just as it was about to shatter, the massive hand grasped it. The fist continued downward, now gripping the weapon, and slammed directly into the All-Seer. Rumble, rumble, rumble. A heaven-shaking impact spread outward like madness. It was as though a veil had been torn away. The entire primordial battlefield vanished beneath the force. The world returned to normal. The vortex outside the demon spirit land disappeared. The scattered planets returned to their original positions. The demon spirit land itself showed no signs of change. Only one thing was different. A madman remained. Many Alliance cultivators had vanished, and everyone stood frozen in shock. Cracking sounds echoed from within the All-Seer's body. He fell to the ground, coughing up blood mixed with fragments of his internal organs. Behind him stood ancient devil Tarja. "Thank you," the All-Seer said hoarsely before coughing blood once more. Tarja's face was pale as well. Just now he had resisted alongside the All-Seer. It was the only way he could survive that incomprehensible spell. Wang Lin descended from the sky and landed before them. The moment he touched the ground, he coughed up blood. A trace of blue light flickered in his right eye, but it quickly faded. Along with it, the azure light shield collapsed completely, shattered without a trace. In his hand, Wang Lin held the All-Seer's trident. At this moment, he had no strength left to fight. Even his legs trembled. If not for the will he had forged over 1,000 years of cultivation, he would have already fallen. Bingmei stood frozen, utterly shaken by what she had witnessed. Even the brilliant void old man looked at Wang Lin with a completely different gaze. Her words echoed faintly in his ears. He is not an ordinary cultivator. All around the Alliance, cultivators stared at Wang Lin with dread. What they had just witnessed was something they would never forget. That lifelike primordial battlefield, that tragic, desolate scene, and that incomparably vast figure, all of it carved itself deeply into their minds. Even though Wang Lin no longer had the power to fight, not a single one of them dared to step forward. Their hearts still pounded violently. None of them had recovered. In their minds, Wang Lin's figure overlapped with that immense godlike presence. Standing there, he radiated an invisible majesty. The brilliant void old man sighed softly. Looking at Wang Lin, he was reminded of the White Tiger of the Four Divine Sect. Back then, the White Tiger alone had held back countless powerful cultivators from both the Alliance and the brilliant Void Realm. Even in death, he had instilled fear, keeping his enemies at bay for a long time. Now Wang Lin had risen to fame through this battle at the Demon Spirit Land. Though his cultivation was not the highest, no one dared to offend him lightly. "Wang Lin, you must die," the All-Seer shouted, raising his right hand. But before he could act, the sky shifted once more. A figure stepped out. He was a middle-aged man, appearing only in the form of his origin soul, yet his presence was dignified and overwhelming. Behind him stood dozens of cultivators, members of the Azure Dragon Divine Sect, the Black Tortoise Divine Sect, and the White Tiger Divine Sect. And behind them, even more members of the Four Divine Sect filled the sky. Their arrival caused the heavens to change color. Thunder rumbled endlessly. Everyone instinctively raised their heads. "Who dares to kill our future divine emperor before me?" The middle-aged man spoke calmly. Yet the moment his voice sounded, the entire demon spirit land trembled. Many cultivators on the ground retreated, unable to withstand its pressure. "A great many old friends have arrived," he said, sweeping his gaze across the battlefield. "Vermillion Bird, Divine Emperor." The All-Seer's expression darkened. Compared to this man, he was merely a junior. Within the Alliance, only a handful could match the Vermillion Bird Divine Emperor in seniority. The man took a single step and appeared before Wang Lin. He examined him carefully, then revealed a smile of approval. "Good, good." Two simple words, yet they carried immense satisfaction. In truth, he had arrived long ago. He had merely chosen not to reveal himself, using this moment to test Wang Lin. And Wang Lin had exceeded his expectations. Now this battle ends here. The Vermillion Bird, Divine Emperor's eyes gleamed sharply. He raised his right hand. A piece of white stone appeared. The instant it emerged, an intense heat filled the world. Space around it distorted as if rejecting its existence. Then the stone melted, transforming into a single drop of burning blood. It hovered above his palm. Anyone who looked at it felt as if they had swallowed fire. A scorching heat rose within their hearts. The brilliant void old man stared at it and spoke slowly. The Vermillion Bird, Divine Sect's treasure, from primordial times.